surgeries, middle-aged Mardi Gras and porn stars. Oh my, all that and more today on the Number 2 Show. Hey, welcome back to the Throne Zone, Flush Mob, the Bowl Patrol, whatever I'm going to call my fans. It's been a year and a half, and I still haven't decided. I may never decide. But I appreciate you tuning in to the Number 2 Show, everybody's second favorite podcast. I'm your host, Rafe Williams. I got a great show for you here today, so I don't even want to wait. I'm so excited. Oh, it's going to be good, so let's get into it. We're going to start with everyone's favorite segment. It's a staple. It's the beginning of the show, almost each and every time, and that's 15 Minutes with Rizz. Rizz, welcome back after a short hiatus. We haven't been able to get you in here the last couple episodes because we're so damn busy.
I'm very busy.
I'm so good to have you back, man. I'm happy about you being here.
I'm a very busy person. I have a colonoscopy coming up on Thursday, so tomorrow is going to be prep day.
Yeah, we're going to talk about, you're going to hit the nail on the head, but I got a surprise for you. Cause not just are you back for 15 Minutes with Rizz, I actually added a second New York boy to the podcast. I'm in a New York sandwich right now. Please welcome to the podcast my friend, New York comedian Dan Frigolette, everybody.
Oh, another New Yorker. Nice.
I got two Italian hair.
Yeah,
look at this. Look at these holes. Give me some
Oh,
Italian.
wow, you can only get 3.
Yeah, because I got big sausage
Look
fingers.
at those. Wow.
Yeah, you guys are trying to put that on a pizza. I'm here with 2 Italian boys today, which is exciting. Dan's from New York. Rizz is from New York, both born and bred. Rizz, where did you grow up?
Queens.
So he's a Queens guy.
Yeah.
And Dan, you were telling
I'm a little further up. Yeah, I'm from a place called Schenectady. It's also an
Schenectady.
Italian place.
Schenectady.
Yeah.
Westchester?
No, Albany.
Albany.
Yeah, all the way.
That's
GE, the home of GE.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
way.
yeah,
that's way the hell
Oh yeah,
up there.
in the 20s we just took over the town, and then after that they all left because I don't know why. They did the suburbanization thing.
Oh, that might as well be Canada. Dude, it's so gloomy up there too. It's never sunny.
Okay, yeah, sure. Yeah, no, I mean, Albany is a nice little pocket of okay weather, but I was from Syracuse, which is like 100-inch snow place.
Yeah.
So
I applied to go to Syracuse University.
yeah, what happened?
And I didn't get in.
That's where I went.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Oh,
I went to the
they didn't
journalism
want me.
school there, yeah.
I wanted to be Bob Costas.
Yes, yeah, that was my program.
What is it? The Newhouse School, right?
That's
the
it. That's
the
right.
Newhouse School. Rafe, I applied.
Yeah.
And they said no. And I wound up going to Ramapo College of New Jersey, New Jersey's #1 liberal arts college. Go Roadrunners.
Well, I bet they regret it now. Look at your success in radio.
I was there for a semester and a half.
Well, I bet you Syracuse's regret not being able to name you amongst notable alum.
Yep.
How you like that, Syracuse? You
Bob Costas
dumbasses.
and Dan Frigolette. Did you graduate?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, I graduated.
this
Yeah.
guy.
Now, all my roommates. I was just talking about this. All my roommates from college are now like the voice. We got Jason Benetti, the voice of the Detroit Tigers, and then we got Jason Horowitz, the voice of the Las Vegas Raiders.
Oh, my buddy Adam Shine went there. Do you know Adam Shine?
That sounds familiar, actually.
He's on the Sirius, the Mad Dog Sports guy.
Oh, nice. Very good. Yeah.
Another Syracuse guy. Went to high school with him. So,
crush it.
Rafe, what about you? How are you?
I'm great. The New York boys have already cut me out of this deal. This is very Italian New York. I got edged out of a deal that I brought together. I'm glad you guys have so much in common. That's great. And Dan, don't sell yourself short. You're the voice of the Toledo Mud Hens, and that's nothing to be ashamed of, my man.
Is that true? You're the voice of the Toledo Mud Hens?
If anything, I was the voice of the Hoboken Nine. Actually, we had a reenactment league for the first game of baseball, and I was the umpire for that league for like 10 years.
In Hoboken, New Jersey?
Hoboken, New Jersey.
Nice.
Yeah.
He's a New Jersey boy now.
They clumped me in. Yeah.
He lives in Jersey now, so and he said anytime an Italian moves to New Jersey, immediately it tries to claims their soul.
Yeah. What part of Jersey?
So yeah, I'm in Hoboken.
Oh, you are in
yeah.
Hoboken. Mm-hmm. Take the PATH train over, right?
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, New York
Do
talk,
all the New
baby.
York things, man.
Talking New York talk.
Has
You get a
Rafe-
bagel?
has
You get a
Rafe been
bagel
in?
while you up there? What do? You get a lox and a bagel?
Has Rafe been in New York? I haven't seen you in New York.
Yeah, I go at least once a year,
Okay.
sometimes twice a year.
We got to
I did
line it
my-
up.
Hey, listen, man, there's 18 million people there. I haven't seen you there.
I know. Well, I trust me. A couple people saw me. I was there.
I don't believe you.
I haven't been back in a while. I did the last. I think I've been once. I did the last Just for Laughs New Faces thing there.
Oh, nice.
And that was when the year before they folded up their tent, and I think they're back now. But I didn't go last year. But I will be in New York soon. So look for those dates. If the 18 million people who missed me, keep your eyes peeled.
Will you go see my mom?
I will. I would love to hang out with your mom.
Your mom's
She's a
still
cool
in
lady.
Queens? You said, what did you say, Flushing?
Originally from Flushing. Now
Nice.
she's up in Rockland County,
Okay.
about 20 minutes north.
Yep. Mom moved Roseanne.
Should make you meatballs,
She's making meatballs, living with your brother.
lasagna, the whole thing.
You guys, well, while we're talking about Flushing and on the subject, Rizz, you mentioned that you're on the eve of a colonoscopy coming up.
Yeah,
man.
I'm pretty excited. I'll be honest with you.
First one?
This is my second one.
Okay.
Have you had one, Dan?
No. I just turned 42. Am I due?
Oh, you're due, brother.
I'm going to turn 47 this year.
Yeah.
And the doctor, I was supposed to get one last year, and I never answered the call. Like, they set it up, and I just never picked up the phone when they called.
You ghosted on your
I
colonoscopy.
ghosted the colonoscopy people. So this year, I'm like, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. Tomorrow's prep day.
What does that mean?
That's when you flush your system out. I mean, you're on the toilet pretty much from 3 o'clock on.
What do they give you?
Well,
It's either a liquid or a pill, but it's pretty much colon blow. It
Yeah.
gets it out of you.
yeah, they gave me this gallon jug that I got to fill up with water, and it's some kind of mixture that flushes your entire system out. I'm going to weigh myself before and after.
Yeah.
That's
To
the
see how
best.
much shit I'm full of.
Yeah, well, that's the best feeling in the world, dude. If I ever am excited about diarrhea, it's to get on the scale when it's over.
I'm going to say I'm going to lose. I bet you I'm full. I have 5 pounds of shit in me. I'll bet you.
Okay. Can we get this on DraftKings or something?
Easy.
Yeah, it is.
We're betting on it
over
on
under.
on the other show. We're betting on pounds lost in an afternoon. I think it's going to be surprising, dude.
I think so,
I think it's
too.
going to be 3 to 5 pounds.
I'm going to say 5 pounds. But Dan, here's what I'm really looking forward to.
The photos?
Not just the photos, but the moment they put you to sleep.
Oh, it's a sleep thing.
Oh, yeah. You got to go to a thing. You got to go to like I'm going to a hospital.
Yeah.
And they give you the knockout stuff. Like they give you that propofol stuff, the stuff that killed Michael Jackson.
Okay.
Like he got the at-home version of it. But in a controlled environment with a doctor who actually knows what he's doing, giving you this stuff, it's like the best. Have you ever had a surgery?
Yeah. I woke up from one time and they didn't. I guess they killed me for a second. So they did the anesthesia. So I was a bad IV, and I was like, hey, this IV is no good. And they're like, all right, we don't want to get this lady fired. And I was like, let's get her fired so I can get a good IV. So they sent me under, and they're about to do the surgery. And I was like, hey guys,
Oh, you were still awake?
I'm still here. And they were like, oh, and they sent another round. And then I just woke up and they were like, hey, so you stopped breathing, so we didn't do it.
Holy cow.
Oh man,
Yeah.
what was the surgery?
It was just like back injections. I don't want to blow up the guy though. I don't want to blow up his spot.
You don't have to blow up the guy. I just want to know the.
No,
I
I-
just want to know the exact date, time, location, names of everyone involved in the room. So you were supposed to be out.
I've been put under probably 28 times in the last couple of years, actually.
But you know that feeling. They pump you with something.
Yeah.
And the feeling right before you go out.
You like it?
Oh, dude. That's the best. And you go, man, I understand why Michael Jackson had this at home. And sure, it killed him.
That's the same doctor that did Michael.
Yeah.
Dr. Conrad Murray, I know
He's
his
like, I've
name.
actually seen this before. Dr. Conrad, get in here and put
I wanted
Dan
to
out.
hire him. No, I had a bad experience for a tonsillectomy.
Oh, recently or as a child?
No, I got my tonsils out when I was like 25.
Yeah. Because
And-
you were getting all the strep?
Yeah, I was getting strep, and the doctor's like, listen, these got to come out. They said it's rougher to get your tonsils out as an adult than as a kid. So I go to
Because you're going to remember it.
Well, it was a lot of pain.
That's right.
It was a lot of pain. So I go to the hospital, get the tonsillectomy done. The tonsillectomy goes fine. I'm put under. I'm in recovery. They're like, all right, you can go home now. Just make sure you drink a lot of water. Like the whole eating ice cream thing is a myth because they don't want you to have a lot of dairy. So like, drink a lot of water. to help you recover from the surgery. Okay. So I went home. We lived about 35, 40 minutes from the hospital. Went home. I got the gallon of water next to me, and I'm chugging. I got to take a piss. So I get up to go to the bathroom, and I can't. I'm like, man, nothing's coming out. Like, I can't pee. All right, let me go back to bed. Maybe it's whatever. Keep drinking water, chug. Get up to go take a piss again. I can't piss.
Oh, no.
I'm like, something's up here, man. I can't. I literally cannot even not even a drop, nothing. Like give me a little pee-pee, come on. Like a little dribble, something, nothing. Zero, dry.
Giving him the pep talk, nothing's happening.
Nothing's happening.
What do they do for that?
Well, I call my wife. I go, hey, I think you got to take me back. She went back to work. I'm like, I think you got to take me.
You're going to have to suck this pee out of me.
You got to take me back to the hospital because I can't piss. Like, I can't pee, and it's starting to hurt. Like, I've drank so much water that my gut feels like it's going to burst.
Yeah.
She goes, all right, I'll be home in a half hour. I'll take you back to the hospital. So by the time she comes home, by the time I go back to the doctor's office, to the hospital, I'm in such pain that I can't bend my body because my bladder's so
It's
full.
just full, yeah.
And I'm sitting in the passenger seat, and I'm in fucking pain. Like, I'm stiff as a board. And we get to the emergency room, and I start yelling at the intake people. I said, you got to drain me. Gotta drain me.
Drain me!
They said, sir, you gotta sit down. I go, I can't sit down. I cannot sit down. I just was here for surgery. I cannot piss.
Yeah. Aren't you supposed to go back to surgery? You need like a separate line.
Well, what they did
Y'all
was
fucked up line.
In hindsight, him running through the waiting room with his wiener out, yelling, drain me, drain me.
I understand how that would look weird.
Didn't go well.
I understand that would look weird.
I've seen an X-rated film like that.
Yeah.
So they didn't even put me in a room. They put me on a gurney and took me to a hallway in the hospital, and they shoved a catheter up my pee hole.
You gotta do it.
Straight up, no.
Straight up, no. I mean, dry, baby. Straight up.
They dry doctor.
The nurse didn't lick it before she stick it.
No, lick it before she sticks it. No, I mean, I'm telling you,
Spit on the
what would have
hole.
normally been horrific pain was such
Relief. Sure.
And as my bladder is getting smaller and smaller, they had to take it was like 2 buckets full. And I heard
Home
the nurse.
Depot buckets? What kind of bucket?
Home Depot,
That's what I was
5-gallon
thinking
buckets.
about, yeah.
And I heard the nurse go, whoa, man, that's a lot.
Yeah.
So not only
So you
does
gave
my
her a fist bump?
not only does my throat hurt from having a tonsillectomy, but my bladder had gotten so big, and so stretched out that it couldn't go back to normal size.
No kidding. This is real.
Yeah, oh yeah.
They had to put one of those belts on it, like for the overeaters.
I had to have a piss bag,
Really? You got what do they call it?
catheter, and like
You were catheterized the whole time. You stayed.
Oh yeah,
Wow.
2 weeks.
Does the pee hole go back to its regular size?
The pee hole goes back, but I was worried about my bladder. I'm like, is this going to be a lifetime thing for me? So I had to like strap a pee bag to my leg.
What was the reason you couldn't pee?
I had a bad reaction to the anesthesia.
It paralyzed your bladder, right?
It paralyzed my bladder. So normally they make you, like before they release you from surgery,
Go pee.
they go, hey, take a piss.
That's what I do. Yeah, that's what I do with my partners after we get done making love. I go, you gotta go pee. I gotta watch before I leave.
You're right. All right.
It's a
They never
lawsuit.
did it. They never did. And I went home, and my bladder got so big
Yikes.
that there was a worry that like it wouldn't go back to normal size.
Yeah.
But having a catheter and having a pee bag like strapped to your leg is not a bad. It's not a bad thing
It's freeing.
What? Just give me more, please.
because all of a sudden you go, oh, my leg is getting warm. I'm pissing.
Oh. Well, after this horrific thing that we went through, yeah.
I'm trying to make lemonade out of lemons,
Yeah.
you know? Literally. So like I'd be, sitting on the couch like, oh, my leg's getting, look who's got to go to the
Daddy's
bathroom.
peeing.
So there's always that in the back of my head, like
Yeah.
hopefully this doesn't happen again.
You
It
go
hasn't-
under?
Yeah, it happened. I've been put under 2 other times.
Fine.
It's been fine.
Yeah.
Do you think about that, Dan, when you go under since you've woken up? Are you ever like, hey, make sure I'm down? Or do you think about dying?
Yeah, well, it's more like make sure the delivery system's good. I did have another one after that, and I told this lady at another surgery, I was like, hey, she was like, oh, is there anything we should, and I said, I had a really bad IV in this hand last time, and they were like, and she like laughed in my face, and I was like, no, I'm not doing a bit. I think they like found out I was a comic, so they were like, and they thought everything I said before surgery was a bit.
Yeah, that's never fun.
Yeah, and I was like, I'm not doing it. I'm being, and so this lady, so I don't look anymore when they put the IV in. So I looked. So afterwards, I looked over, and all the sheets were covered in blood. And I was like, "Hey, is this?" And they were like, "Yeah, you're fine." And they like thumbs up and like sent me through. And then same thing when I came back. I was having trouble waking up. I don't know whether they had to send extra.
You died again.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
And so when they took, and I told the lady who was about to take out the IV, I was like, I want you to know this was a rough IV going in. And she goes, and same thing. She just sort of like rolled her eyes, and she started taking it apart, and it bled everywhere again. And then she's like, "Oh, you're right." I was like, "All right, I don't know."
Is this a different hospital?
Different hospital, different
good.
procedure. Yeah.
I've read plenty of stories of people actually waking up in the middle of surgery and not being able, paralyzed.
Yeah.
Like, so waking up and knowing you're being cut open, or you're cut open, and you're conscious, but you can't speak, you can't move.
Yeah, dude. Just put me away if that happens.
Yeah, I woke up during my wisdom teeth twice. You ever had your wisdom teeth out?
Yeah.
They like it's. I don't know if this is what it really, but this is what it is. And a combination of being like high from the anesthesia, and dentists, oral, they don't know how to do the anesthesia. They're the worst. And so it feels like they like shove a. Almost like an Inspector Gadget like thing in there, and then it opens up like a shrink, and so like opens up inside the tooth, and then they yank it out.
Yeah,
so both times when it went in and opened up, I felt, and then I was like, so I just like woke up and I was like, and they were like, so they like sent to the anesthesia again, and then it happened on the other side again. So I specifically remember them starting to put pressure on the tooth and shoving the thing.
Oh,
in there.
I was awake for my wisdom teeth.
The whole thing. Could you feel all that?
Me too, because I'm poor.
They gave me the laughing gas.
Yeah.
So I was awake.
Yeah.
I just remember the crunch. I rember them grabbing the tooth.
Sure.
And after they were done, they took 2 out, and they were like, "All right, you're good to go." And my dentist was in Times Square.
So you were like the TRL, like everybody was watching?
Yeah, and well, I was dating my wife at the time, so she's like, "I'll take you home." I remember some tourists, and I was stuffed with cotton balls.
Yeah.
And I remember going in front of a group of tourists, like a family, and spitting blood all over the floor. And I'm like, they'll remember that forever. I gave them a story.
Yeah.
What a treat.
And hepatitis.
And hepatitis. It's fine. I was tested.
I also was awake for my wisdom teeth and just did Novocaine because I was poor, and I went to a dental, as a comedian, I didn't have any insurance. I went to like a dental school to let someone practice on me.
Oh, God.
And I got apparently the kind of teeth 1 in 300 people have, where my roots bend backwards, like if you hammered a nail through a board and bent it. So she's like, "We're going to have to break your tooth to pull them." And this little lady was like trying to pull my teeth out, dude. It was like knee up on the table. I didn't feel it, but it's still like the noises and the exertion, like watching her exert herself was kind of really bizarre.
Sweating on you?
So I've only been under once. I had the opposite. Like I went under for a gallbladder, like emergency, had to come out. It's killing me. And same thing, I didn't die, but they were like, my girlfriend was like, "Yeah, you were turning blue and your lips got purple." And they were like,
"Holy cow."
In the recovery room. Because I have like sleep apnea, dude. I have every kind of bad breathing thing you can imagine. So I think they like dosed me up like a rhino or something. And they were like, "Yeah, the nurse got a little concerned because you weren't coming to, and you kind of started changing colors." So I came over and rolled you over.
A little concerned.
Yeah. I was more concerned, and I told Rizz this, and I think about this all the time. I'm like, because we're comics and you brought that up, I'm always worried, like, what am I going to say coming out of anesthesia? You know what I mean? Like, I say some outlandish shit of my own free volition. I'm always afraid. And, you know, comedians say some pretty crazy shit to one another. Like, to make each other laugh, we go beyond what is socially acceptable.
Way further, yeah.
Yes. And I'm always scared.
A little too loose?
I'm a little scared that the gas is going to get me a little too loose in the cage. Yeah. And I'm like, well, I got canceled in a recovery room. That sucks. Because I said something crazy because I thought I was talking to one of my comic friends, and it turns out it was a nurse with her own TikTok and 2 million followers.
You know what? I'm going to ask the nurse how much
shit
outlandish stuff she's heard.
Yeah.
I mean, I worked in surgery, so I've seen some of that. I've seen people wake up violent, and I've seen people wake up emotional, and I've seen people wake up funny as hell.
You ever see anybody wake up and then just immediately start hitting on people?
Yeah.
I want to see that one.
Yeah.
That'd be fun.
But I think as a comic, it's important to me. I want to be funny.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to wake up violent. I'm a big dude. I'm worried. I don't want to swing on anybody. And I don't want to be emotional. I want to wake up, and if they know you're a comic, you kind of feel pressure.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I did just get, and I didn't like that my doctor that took my gallbladder out, side note, had on Air Force Ones when he came to visit me because I didn't get to pick my doctor, and he was a very young guy, and he looked like Tony Hinchcliffe, which really bothered me. And I was like, all right, you look like Tony Hinchcliffe. You're wearing Air Force Ones. This is I want my doctor in penny loafers. I want to be an old guy or an old gal.
Oh yeah. Oh really?
Not sexist. I don't care.
You want him to have shaky hands?
I want to have shaky hands, but I want to see some liver spots. I want to know that.
No, I don't need an old guy.
No, I want my surgeon to be like 18, like at his prime, like just dexterity. Like you look too young to be in the room, so you must be a genius. That's what I want.
Because I don't want to be somebody's first time. Yeah. Or I don't want to be somebody's 10th time. I want to be somebody's 100th time.
You want a little salt and pepper.
A little salt and pepper, not old. The last old doctor I had a hernia surgery.
Man, look at us.
I know, we're comparing scars.
Old Guy's Corner. So welcome to my new podcast, Old Guy's Corner.
I had a hernia surgery, and I guess where they tied it off, it got infected.
Yeah.
Like where they knotted where my belly button was.
Yeah.
So they knotted it off, and that little spot got infected. And, I was like, I got to go back to the doctor. I went, and it was an old guy, Dr. Skinner. And he goes,
all right. That's a bad name. Yeah.
He goes, all right, we'll get that taken care of for you. He goes, just lay down, and I see him taking out the scalpel and stuff like that. I go, what are we doing? He goes, I'm just going to cut the infection out.
Let's do it right now.
I go, no numbness? He goes, nah, it's fine. And he cut my belly button open without any anesthesia.
Oh, God. Okay. You got too old of a doctor. That's like a guy who's like, I did this in the Civil War, all right?
Fellas.
They call me Sawbones.
I went on a vision quest.
Sprinkled salt on it.
I saw colors that I didn't even know existed.
That's horrifying.
There was a naked Indian.
He pulled the piece out of your belly button?
Oh, yeah.
And that's medieval torture. That was in the movie The Cell.
He sliced the top where the infection was, open.
Oh, God.
And then cut the knot out.
Just like popped it like a zit in front of you.
And basically gave me a Band-Aid and goes, you're good.
Oh, God.
Put a leech on it.
And now the bloodletting.
Here's 2 leeches. Call me if you're a pussy. I'm like, okay, well, I'm paying you a lot of money.
You're phlegmatic.
That was the young Tony Hinchcliffe doc also said, I had they found a hernia going in through my belly button. Same thing. And he goes, we found a hernia on the way in. I went ahead and yanked that out too. And I'm like, okay, don't say yank. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. That's how I felt.
What if I wanted that hernia?
Yeah.
I don't care about that as much as I'm paying you thousands of dollars. I want you to make me feel dumb. Use medical terminology.
Yeah. Don't say I pinched it off.
Yeah. Say I excised the hernia. Say I surgically removed this threatening tumor or something like that. Don't just lay it on me like that.
I would just like to say that they just assumed you didn't want it there. What if you wanted it there?
Right. I've been saving that.
While we're speaking of unwanted hernias.
Yes.
Dan, what a transition.
Dan's in town because he hosted Festus Mardi Gras.
Yeah. Oh, I got you guys stuff. Here.
What do we got? All right.
Just put them right through the glory hole.
Send them over. I thought about that, but I went under.
Beads through the hole.
I saw some beads.
Let's beat up.
Show me your incised belly buttons.
Before Rizz gets out of here, which is probably soon, we've been talking a long time about our hernias. I wanted to talk about what it was like. So St. Louis, for those of you who don't know, we film in St. Louis. It's one of the biggest Mardi Gras celebrations besides New Orleans. But Dan, my friend,
it's number 2. We're on the number 2 show. It's the number 2 Mardi Gras.
Yeah. Number 2 show, number 2 party. It all comes together eventually. And Dan was in town to host Mardi Gras, but not St. Louis Mardi Gras. No, Dan got hired to host a little town outside of St. Louis.
Yeah.
A town we call Festus, Missouri, which is where Tanya Haddix had her chimp farm from HBO's Chimp Crazy.
I got to see this now. I didn't know this.
She was also a guest on this pod, friend of the show, Tanya Haddix. So you were down there in Chimp Country hosting Mardi Gras, and dude, enlighten Rizz and I what Festus Mardi Gras.
Well, yeah, I did. So that just shows you where my career is at. I can't host the New Orleans or the St. Louis, but I'm in Festus. No, Festus is great. So I've been coming to St. Louis for 10 years, I think. And there was always an add-on night that we could do in Festus. So I met these guys, and there's a guy down there who's like the mayor of Festus, and they have their family has a bunch of restaurants, and they're down there.
Is that guy just a chimp?
He's a chimpanzee, and
Okay.
he wears pants and he walks around. And so I did a show, I don't know, 6 months ago. Every like 2 years, this guy calls me. He's like, "Hey, we bought another business," and then we come and we play a different, bigger room. So I played the theater. They have a place called the Contrarian. I played the theater in November, and he's like, "You got to come for Mardi Gras." And every year I'm like, "Yeah, I'll come for Mardi Gras. Let's get it set up." And so I finally came. They had a parade. They had like 80 floats or 80 groups to do the floats in this parade. It was crazy. And then the thing was so crazy that like the first hour of the Festus Mardi Gras, the stage collapsed. Nobody got hurt. I was on stage trying to make people like put beads on each other for a stupid game when the thing collapsed.
So it was like a titty overload. What happened?
So Festus, let's see. So I would say, so if you're saying that Festus is like off-brand, so I would say everybody at the Festus Mardi Gras was like our age.
Okay.
So we started there. So yeah,
That's hurtful. All right.
So everybody kept their nipples in. I don't know. We're not the target market for showing our nips, are we?
Not a lot of late Gen X, early millennial titties coming out, I guess.
So,
I don't know. I feel like that's all I see. I feel like that's the people more willing to show the movies.
Sure.
They're like, no one's looked at these in a while.
It has no value yet. Check it out. Look at it. Look at it.
Stage collapsed.
Make eye contact with it.
Well, how did
I don't know. I put two big burly guys on stage. Basically, I was like, "Hey, I need 2 volunteers." I was like, "Hey, I need 2 dudes with giant dongs," and I asked for volunteers, and then nobody volunteered. So I was like, "I need 2 dudes with medium-sized dongs," and then nobody volunteered. I was like, "I need 2 dudes with tiny dongs," and then I got two big burly guys on stage.
Oh, that's the way they do it in Festus.
What did the fact that you said there's 80 floats is mind blowing to me.
No, it was wild.
I didn't know there was 80 people.
No, it was so I've been. The night before we had a show and we were on the streets of Festus and there was no one there. So like we were like, okay, there's a parade in Festus, whatever. And I think we were only probably like 8 blocks, 10 blocks or whatever. But man, I was on one of the floats hawking beads, and
were there a lot of breasts?
There was it was more of a children parade for this one. But this one, yeah. So I saw just child belly buttons. It was beautiful. And so I don't know. It must have been, I don't know, 500 people. It was it was crazy. I don't even know.
Oh, that's good. Yeah, I didn't know Festus had such a celebration.
It was wild. Yeah. They do. I guess they do it every year. And their market is that you don't want to drive up there. I think the ad says you don't want to. You don't need to go up there.
Yeah, because down here in St. Louis, actually up here compared to Festus.
Oh, I heard it was nuts.
It's like they got 300,000 people all in kind of one neighborhood.
Yeah, and I heard it, and people were like. I was like reaching out on social media, seeing what was going on. People were like, "I'm never doing this again." I don't know what happened.
We have a neighborhood called Soulard, which is literally the French word for drunk.
Mm. Is that right?
Yeah, I believe so. Let me look it up.
Drunkard.
To make sure. I believe the word Soulard in French means. Let's see what.
And I was just in New Orleans for the snow business, so I was like excited to see what New Orleans was, and that gives me context for the St. Louis stuff. And then all these Cajun places Festus has all these Cajun places. So
yeah, well, it's fun. St. Louis Mardi Gras is fun. It's a young man's game.
Right, that's what I was saying. Yeah.
Like last time I was down there, somebody spilled a hurricane all over the front of me. I'm like, I'm done.
Yeah,
this is it for me.
I think there's a lot of small towns around here that do like what you're describing, which I'd call as middle-aged Mardi Gras.
Hell yeah.
It's kid friendly. There's a place. Word in Illinois is a place. They'd have Wordy Gras. And
is that right?
Yeah, I believe there's
like that.
I think there's places that are like, hey, we don't want the crazy festooned idolatry of regular Mardi Gras. So
I didn't see anybody vomit.
Yeah,
only one guy tried to fight me. Yeah,
I'm just looking for good parking.
That's what I was going to say. Yeah,
one guy tried to fight you.
Yeah, that happens a lot.
Nice.
People like trying to fight me.
Yeah,
I don't fight.
You got that look. We both kind of share that look. We both look like we could be bad guys in 80s movies.
Well, so what do you do? So I don't de-escalate the fight, but I don't escalate the fight. So we just sit in this limbo where they're like, I don't know what to do now. And then I just stay in there. And then I think these guys, because they watched a lot of like Cobra Kai and Karate Kid,
everybody thinks they could fight.
They think that, but they also think that somebody else has to start it. And so if I don't start it, we just sit in limbo, and I love that tension. I don't know why. It feels so nice.
It becomes a mini Cold War. An Italian Cold War.
It's a Mexican standoff.
The last time I got into a quote-unquote bar fight, I get hot. And I'm like, the guy's like, you want to go outside? I go, yep, let's go outside. And I thought somebody would break it up, and nobody did. I'm like, shit, man, we got to go outside. I got a big mouth.
Yeah. Italians we'll say, let's do that. Yeah, I'll meet you on the side of the road. Let's go.
I was like, I I was doing a hamburger eating contest at a bar.
Okay.
So already hamburger eating contest
against other people, or you paid like 500
other people.
Okay.
And the guy, it was like at noon.
As the celeb.
I was the celeb host. And the guy just wouldn't stop cursing. And there was like little kids around.
Yeah.
And I'm like, dude.
And now you're a justice warrior.
Like little kids around.
Yeah.
I'm like, just calm down. And then he told me to go fuck myself. And that's when I got hot. And I'm like, fuck me, fuck you. And it went go back and forth.
Yeah.
Then he goes, you want to go outside? I go, yep. Expecting my co-host to step in and go, fellas. And he didn't.
Yeah, where's my backup?
And he was not anywhere to be found.
And you need that guy. You go, hold me back, hold me back, hold me back. And just somebody's holding you, and you're like, oh, you're lucky he's here.
And that never happened.
Yeah.
And then he's like, let's go outside. I go, yep. And then we started going outside. I'm like, shit, nobody's stopping.
Yep. You closed the door, you locked it?
No, no. Our buddy Justin from Hot Shots came and grabbed me.
The promoter.
The promoter was like, "Oh, fellas!" It was last minute.
Yeah,
he was already outside, and I was slowly going outside. And I was clearly going to get my ass kicked.
Oh, you're going to get it. All right. No, we're not fighting here. We're going to fight at the other end of the parking lot.
I probably would have tried to stall him more.
No. I don't want to hit you on this property. We're going to go over here in this Gordman's lot. You just kept walking.
Just walk for like 3 miles.
Yeah, pretty soon, 18 miles later, you're in your driveway, and you're like, I'll tell you what, I dare you to come inside my house. You just hear all the deadbolts locked behind you. Like, what's the matter? You scared of a little door?
All right. Well, listen, guys, I got to go.
That's it.
Oh.
That's my 15 minutes.
Yeah.
Dan, good meeting you.
Hey,
enjoy your stay.
Italians.
All right.
Bye, guys.
I'm down an Italian.
He's not wearing the beads.
I'm down one Italian at the end of 15 Minutes with Rizz. We'll be back with Dan Frigolette after a short word from these proud sponsors. Hey, everybody. Welcome back to the number 2 show. Thanks for tuning in. We just finished up 15 Minutes with Rizz, which turned into 25 Minutes with Rizz because we got talking. 3 old guys got talking about their hernia surgeries, and I'll tell you what, we got carried away, Dan.
Yeah, I didn't realize how many surgeries between us.
Just the fact that you've been under that many times is mind-boggling to me. I've been under once, and I'm a little skittish, and I didn't wake up.
Yeah.
But we're back, and I want to do we're gonna do a little segment since Dan's here that I like to call Tank Talks. All right, we're back. And speaking of Tank Talks, Dan, you used to, I don't know if you're still actively doing it, but I want to touch on it because it is right up my audience's alley. You have a podcast that you've done in the past, and I know you said it was on hiatus. Porn Stars Are People, is that right?
Porn Stars Are People podcast. It's still available. You can still get all the episodes everywhere.
Yeah, and they're great. Give me just a little elevator pitch.
Yeah, the goal was to, so this is like, everyone's got a porn podcast now, but at the time there was like 4. And so it was just an outsider trying to get some insight. And I was trying to keep it on, it ran into R, but I was trying to keep it on the PG end or the PG-13 end and really just talk to these people. This was like this is pre-OnlyFans when the thing started. So it was like, it went from anonymity is everything to, in that time period, to like actually telling about yourself is what was monetizable, if that makes sense. So originally it was like, it's all fake names and we don't say anything about ourselves because we don't want anybody to know where we live or anything. And then we just in that little crease, we started talking about real things. And it was just a fun pocket. I don't remember what my old pitch was. We were trying to destigmatize the sex industry. It was the goal.
Yeah, and I feel like a lot of what I liked about it when I watched it was that you talk, and I do that here. I try to do that here. Like if I have musicians on, I don't talk about music.
Yeah.
I ask them because you're a comedian, dude. We do these interviews on radio shows and press all over the country when we go do shows, and they ask you the same 6 or 7 questions.
What's funny about being funny?
When did you know that you were funny? Who are your top 3 comedians?
Yeah.
What do you think of old
What's
Carrot
your
Top?
favorite place to do comedy?
Yeah. Carrot Top, Gallagher, go. Shit on him. And I'm like, oh, you mean guys that sold way more tickets than me?
Yeah,
no, I'm not going to shit on him. I hope I
love
can.
Gallagher.
Honestly, dude, loved Gallagher when I was a kid.
Yeah.
He had some good political stuff. I know he smashed a watermelon. All right. I understand that worked against him.
Yeah. I wrote that exact paper in college. I wrote the paper that was, this guy's doing smart comedy wordplay, but then at the end he smashes watermelons, and it's confusing the audience. So then,
and that was the thing that took hold as his memory.
Yeah. Yeah, his Larry the Cable Guy. There's Larry the Cable Guy. People would come to the show, and they'd be like, "Smash it,
smash the melon on me, get it on my wife's titties." and meanwhile, he's like spending the whole first hour completely picking apart the Nixon administration.
Yeah, right. He's like, if pro is the opposite of con, then Congress is the opposite of progress.
Yes.
Here's a watermelon. Smash.
Right. Yeah, the guy was killing it with clever wordplay and actually making political insights, but unfortunately.
And they were like, smash a pistachio.
Yeah. And the other thing that was weird about him is when I went to school in Carbondale, Illinois, there was a place called Muggsy McGuire's, and he contracted his act out to his brother.
Yes. So it got weird in the end.
His brother was called Gallagher 2.
I think he's still doing it.
And he basically just did his brother's act. His brother needed money, and he's like, I don't give a fuck. Go do my act.
But then they sued each other or something. I don't know.
Yeah,
it's like Hall & Oates is suing each other. It's like all the greats are getting into court now.
Everybody's
Gallagher
suing
1
everybody.
and 2, Hall & Oates. Yeah.
But that was something I really enjoyed about your pod, and I think that now it's all about, like, there are porn star pods, like Lean to the Plug and all that stuff, but that's all about sex and fucking.
Yeah. The goal was to be like, what else are you doing?
Yeah, you were like, for lack of a better word, and I'm pro sex work, you were humanizing them, like, hey, they're not constantly
destigmatizing the sex work. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, but then all the terminology changed while it was happening. So I went from an old 20-year-old to like a mid 30-year-old, and during that time it went from homeless to unhoused. So all the terminology in sex and sex work also changed. So it's just like the whole thing was just an interesting thing to keep up with. And then you're trying to keep up with trends and all this stuff. You're at all the sex conventions, and then at that time Zuckerberg buys Instagram and then WhatsApp, and then everything's kind of connected, and then being involved with sex work and on the internet was not going great for your algorithm. So took a hiatus.
Yeah. And now you even mentioned this earlier. I feel like we've reached a precipice of where OnlyFans kind of came out, changed the whole almost the whole.
It really did. It really changed a lot.
To a point now that it's almost gone the other way. We were talking about this today. Like, we constantly get stories on our other show about hold on one second. I feel like I got a hair tickling my nose. I can change my hat. We constantly get like all sorts of stories now are like the girl that fucked 1,057.
Yeah, people were mad about this the other day. Somebody tried to corner me about this in Gainesville.
Well, it's just like we've almost reached a point now to even get attention for it. Yeah. As a sex worker, you have to do outlandish. You have to have like a shtick. It's almost like being a comic. Like, what's your hook? Okay.
Maybe.
Okay, you're you're a lesbian who also used to work in healthcare, and now your special is called gay healthcare. And it's like we kind of went through that with comedy, where like identity comedy became a thing, and then like we kind of got into identity porn, where it's like today we had a story about a girl that's like going into nursing homes only trying to bang old men and guys at the VA.
Okay,
because she's into older men, but it's like. She got a daddy fetish, and then we had, we just had a story about a mom and a daughter on OnlyFans who got pregnant by the same guy. It's almost like, and a lot of this stuff ends up being fake. Like the girl who banged 1,000+ guys said she was pregnant, she wasn't. But it's almost like, hey, we're trying to beat the algorithm and drive traffic.
Well, it's all. I mean, I think a good proxy is like it's all WWE. Like we're all just doing a thing, and it's like what character am I? And like, am I the heel? Am I the good guy? Am I the thing? So to your point, I never heard it called that. So identity, comedy, identity porn. That's interesting. That's an interesting vibe. Yeah, and because I remember when I started the podcast, I think people didn't care who the people were. They wouldn't. I was like a guy. I was like, who is that? How do I see more stuff of theirs? And that wasn't a big deal. And then the pay for your porn era came around, and so now it's OnlyFans. But it really is. It's like there's a personal touch on it, and it's like. The person that you want to see continues. Also, this is the thing I haven't been able to really figure out how to talk about exactly yet. The other thing that's changed is basically dudes are kind of out as a power position in porn, which that's good. We want that, right? Well, like if you're a woman and you're making the money and you're the star, like make your money, right? So we like that. But now what's happening is porn names are like gamer tags now. So it's like the names are not like it used. There used to be like an old, dirty, fat guy in the corner, be like, "Your name is Allie Angels, and that's it," right? And now we don't have that, so the names are just like weird gamer tags, like Luxury Girl, or it'll be like, and
it's not Jennifer Nipples anymore,
right? It's weird, like Shrooms Q, just like the weirdest names.
Yeah.
By the way, shout me out, Shrooms Q. Like it's the names don't make any sense anymore. It's like you're trying to like keep up with them. There's like somebody's called CC Doll. Like I don't know what the names mean anymore.
Yeah, you're right. They did. We got that was like a thing that I enjoyed. The old school.
You like the names?
The old school pseudonyms. Yeah, they were fun.
Yeah.
You know, like Susie Sparkles or whatever. And now you're right. When I look on Pornhub, a lot of it is like at voluptuous DP.
Yeah,
they're just like okay.
Yeah,
I mean that's cool, but.
I need the names back.
Well, what's your name? Is it Amber? I want to know.
And then and maybe it got played out. Maybe it's the thing because it used to be right. What was it? It was your middle name and the street you grew up on.
Sure.
Was supposed to be your porn name, and that was good. And mine was always good. It was John Hiltonwood. So like that was a good one.
John Hiltonwood.
Hiltonwood.
Mine was Dean Grant.
Yeah.
Hell yeah, dude. Dean
Those are
Grant.
good ones. Yeah.
Dean Grant is laying some fucking pipe, dude. I think the other one was what was it? Your first dog and your mother's maiden name. Or your first pet, mother's maiden name. What would that be?
I'm not bringing my dog into this. I'm sorry.
Mine would have been.
I'm gonna abstain.
Mine would have been Whiskers Ford. That's tight. That's also good. Get Whiskers Ford in here. He's got to finish this off.
That is a good name. Yeah. Harrison Ford's brother.
That's right. Less successful. It's like Patrick Swayze's brother that was only in 2 movies that kind of looked like a Wish version of him.
Oh, I never saw that. And then Tom Hanks' brother does. Tom Hanks' brothers does all the Woody stuff for the voiceovers.
No.
Tom Hanks' brother does everything that's Woody that's not on camera, other than the 3 movies. So he has a full career being Tom Hanks. And Kiefer Sutherland's first like 12 gigs were stealing his father's jobs doing a Donald Sutherland impression.
Oh, really?
Yeah. This nepotism thing it's real. It's good. I wish my parents were. Well, I had vaudeville great grandparents. I wish vaudeville was bigger.
Oh man, I wish Rizz was in here to hear that, dude. His grandparents were vaudevillian dancers as well.
Hell
they had to change their Italian last name.
Yeah. Well, so my last name my great grandfather. This is at a time when actually I don't want to say it this way, but this is at a time when Italians are not being accepted, and we don't know the culture doesn't exist. Is that we don't know that Italians are good at food. We just got to the country, so it's like 1900 to 1930, and my great grandfather was like, I want to sell fruits and vegetables out of a horse-drawn carriage. And so he was like, how to do that is to be French. So he made it Frigolette sound a little bit French instead of Friguguletto, so that he could sell fruits and vegetables.
That's the original name, Friguguletto.
Yeah.
Damn,
so
dude.
There's still some Frigugulettos running around. There's Frigolettes, Frigoletto.
It's like every vowel.
Yeah, it is every vowel. Yeah.
And I like that. I'm trying to find this. Let's see if I can pull this up, dude.
Oh,
God. Look at that, dude. That's Don Swayze standing next to Patrick Swayze.
Well, and that's when Patrick Swayze's not even at his best anymore. So yeah, he's just trying to. Okay, so was he doing his stunts or what was he doing?
Nah, he was just like doing. He got parts in other movies because they were like, we couldn't get Patrick.
No shit.
We got Don.
Great.
Don will be in a knockoff Alien versus Predator movie.
Don Swayze's a better name too.
So what were
Don Swayze?
I got all caught up in the Don Swayze. I know. Yeah. That sounds like Patrick Swayze's porn name is Don Swayze.
Don Swayze.
I got a little caught up. Tell me get about your grandparents, exactly what they did in vaudeville again.
Oh, this is like great grandpa. So I don't even know. They were singing, dancing, all the vaudeville things. Vaudeville people
Comedy?
were so much more. Yes, they were funny. I'm sure. I never met them. That's too many generations away. But I know that the Sabatellis, and that wasn't even the Frigolettes. The Sabatellis were great vaudevillians. And then go down the line. My grandma's brothers were just like ladies' men too, from what I hear. So yeah, the charisma passed its way down a little bit.
Yeah, you get that Frigolette. How do you say it?
Friguguletto.
You get that Friguguletto Rizz, dude. That Friguguletto, they spent
Is that what they're calling it now, Rizz?
I think, yeah, he loves it. It's charisma. It's short for charisma.
Oh, I didn't even know that.
His
Look at
name
us.
is Scott Rizzuto.
Look at us.
And he goes by Rizz. So he loves, Because I was like, that could have gone the other way, dude. That could have gone like Rick Santorum. When Santorum became, sucking cum out of somebody's butt with a straw, that ruined Zane. Don't look away, buddy. My
the producer just got shy.
Your producer's acting like he's better than us right now, and I don't like it. That's what it is.
He just got uncomfortable.
Let's look it up. You want to find out, young man?
He's bright red right now, yeah.
He is. I feel like I'm his weird uncle that teaches him about stuff that his parents would not
Smell
approve
this
of.
finger.
Hey. Santorum, Urban Dictionary.
He's like, you know what you got to do? You got to put your little finger between her first two toes. That's what you got to do.
Listen here, bud. You don't know about Santorum? Not Rick Santorum. Urban Dictionary. Here, put this little definition up on the screen. A mixture of cum and shit that sneaks back out of your ass an hour after it gets pounded, young man.
1 hour.
My husband, use it in a sentence? Sure, I will. My husband and I were in the grocery store when the Santorum snuck down my pant leg and into my boots by pound ass September 13th, 2020. So now we know.
I almost gagged.
Foul-smelling, frothy mixture of fecal matter and semen that dribbles down a male partner's raw, tumescent anus after sodomy and dribbles down his testicles like so much chocolate syrup.
It's only male side.
Oh, God. Chocolate syrup and mayonnaise. Oh, Lord, don't ruin two things I love. I'm white.
I thought it was called cum farts. That's what I thought it was.
No, it's the discharge, biting pejorative term to describe a plutocratic, homophobic theocrat, a component of the radical right who embraces tax cuts for the rich, social spending for the poor, anti-gay legislation, every conceivable form of adherence. I feel like that's just talking about Rick Santorum. I feel like someone snuck that in there like a Wikipedia. But anyway, now you know, Zane. So I want you to get on the microphone. I want you to say it now, okay? I want you to get on the mic and read this to me.
Santorum.
Santorum. Now I want you to say what it means. Right here.
That frothy mixture of lube and fecal matter that is sometimes the byproduct of anal sex.
Yeah, now use it in a sentence right there underneath.
Abby said that after she and John had anal sex, she had to wash the Santorum off right away.
Good job, buddy. Now it's ingrained. If nothing else, it's all about teaching Zane new words while we're here. He's young. He's a good young man, and I am slowly but surely, Dan, corrupting his mind.
Yeah, he seemed even younger when he was reading that, to be honest.
He did. He did.
Thank you, Rafe.
He's a good boy. You're welcome, young man. Yeah, I wish we'd have talked about this when Rizz was here because he had, I can't remember the
Santorum
name.
fit?
Not the Santorum part. That was a detour we took. Hey, I'm calling you. You're still on the pod. Dan just told me his great-grandparents were vaudevillian, and I said, oh, man, we should have talked about this when you were here because your great-grandparents also vaudeville stars, yeah?
My grandparents.
Your grandparents. And they changed the name from Rizzuto to what?
Joyce. Joyce.
Okay.
What were their names? I want to look them up.
Were they a big deal?
Bobby and Ginger Joyce.
Were they a big deal?
Oh, yeah.
There's a Joyce Theater in New York City.
Bobby and Ginger.
Got it.
There's an old theater in New York City that's not open now.
Online?
Bobby and Ginger Joyce. Let's see if we can find them.
See if they could find them.
Bobby, Joyce, and Ginger. Let's see. They got an IMDb.
No shit.
Oh, they do?
That can't be right. It says your Chevrolet showroom. Let me do this again.
Well, maybe that was like one of those old-timey TV shows.
Put vaudeville. Put the word vaudeville.
I am. I got this. Trust me, bro. I've Googled.
People don't know. You can put anything you want. You can put just your random scattered thoughts into Google. I do it all the time.
All right. I'm going to see if I can find them. I'll let you go. I just wanted to get the info from you. They were dancers, right?
Yeah, they were dancers.
They were everything.
There we go. All right. See you,
Vaudeville
Rizz.
was everything.
I just hijacked another minute of his time.
I talk about this a lot, like how like everybody's way more talented. If you watch all the shows, like the Carol Burnett show, they could dance, they could sing. Now what do we have? We're just like, yeah, my cat shit on my chest the other day.
Yeah, we just do jokes.
Yeah, we don't have what they had. You had to do so much more in the past. Imagine you had to do your set, and then the last 20 minutes is you have to tap dance.
Right.
Now that would be insane.
Can you imagine? You're like, I just did my closer. Now I'm going to do 15 minutes of ragtime.
Right.
You just crushed your closer, and you're like, and now, hello, my baby. Hello, my honey. Hello, my ragtime girl.
There's an upright bass. Yeah.
Yeah,
Wearing a straw hat.
You're taking pratfalls on stage. You're doing now a selected scene from Henry IV. Imagine also like being of that time of vaudeville and being really good at it when everything changed.
Right. Well, yeah, everybody. Well, there was that movie, right? The guy, he was the silent star, but he had a bad voice. He's just this handsome guy. That movie came out, whatever, in the middle of, I don't know, the 2000s.
Was that Errol Flynn? Who was that? Who was that based on?
Well, was it based on a real guy?
I don't know. Maybe it wasn't.
Oh, I don't know. But it was, so he was like, and then the talkies came out, and he couldn't do the talkies. That sounds right. Yeah. And there's a dog in it. Yeah, it was great. And then the talkies came out, and then these guys couldn't transition because that's all they knew.
Yeah.
That happened with color too, because you did everything, you figured out how to make grayscale look dope, and then all of a sudden it's color, and then now you don't look good in color. Or you're just like, I don't know, I don't want to do that anymore. I understand that, right? As comedians,
you meant Sammy Davis Jr. for a second. Now I know what you mean.
But that happens as comedians. It's like, oh, what are we doing now? We have to do this now. Like, I don't know. Maybe it's time to quit. We just keep going.
Well,
through
I feel like
transitions.
it always goes through, and we're in the middle of one now in our industry. Like there just had to be a point in vaudeville that had to piss them off when they're like, all right. I can sing, I can dance, I can memorize Shakespeare, I know how to take pratfalls, I actually know 13 different magic tricks, and I know every dirty joke of the 1001 dirty joke. I can get laughs, I can
juggle,
dance.
I can backflip.
Yeah, I'm trapeze a little bit, and then somebody's like, nah, the new thing is Newhart. I'm like, what? I was like, yeah, it's Bob Hope guy.
Wife.
Yeah. This Bob Hope guy who stands on stage with a putter, and he's killing it, and he's making millions of dollars entertaining Americans' troops, and you're just like, you got to fucking be kidding me.
Well, I guess that's
how we feel about TikTok stars.
Yeah, right. I mean? That's perfect. Yeah, the next first thing was the two-man act, right?
Yeah.
The Laurel and Hardy, the Who's on First, and they're like, what?
Yeah. Martin and Dean Martin, Jerry Lewis. I feel like
Martin Lewis.
They survived the jump.
Did you read the book?
No, I watched the movies with the guy from Will and Grace. Those were good.
Oh, but there's a book called Dean and Me, written by Jerry Lewis. It's basically a love story about his relationship with Dean Martin. Like they kind of, they don't make it through the Martin Lewis thing unscathed. So they're just, the industry's using them, leveraging them against each other, and Jerry Lewis is just so in love with Dean Martin the whole time. Like he lost his bromance, and it's a bittersweet book, but it's so good. I love it so much. I read it every year.
Yeah, they made Dean feel like they really played on his ego. In the movie too, about oh, you're nothing without him, and he wanted to be a serious actor. He wanted to prove he could do it without him, and probably lost a lot of good films, buddy films.
And they were they were making up gossip between them. Yeah, it's wild. Wait, what's the movie? I don't know the movie.
Well, I'll Google that since I couldn't find the gossip.
So this is my point about Google. Is I'll literally if I don't know something, I'll just put all my jumbled thoughts. So the other day I put in 70s mustache porn star prison, and they were like, "Did you mean Ron Jeremy?" I'm
it's
like,
called,
"You're
Martin and Lewis."
Right. The movie's called Martin and Lewis. Yep. Great. Oh, I got to check it out.
Jeremy Northam plays Dean Martin, who I do not know, but I remember it being a good movie, and it was I think it was based on that book.
Yeah. Okay. Good. I didn't know that. Yeah,
check out Martin and Lewis from 2000 and I don't know when. Doesn't say 2002. It's been out a while.
Shows us how this whole thing started.
Well, and I think we go through. Comedy's gone through that, where it's for a while it was you do the clubs and you tour and you middle and you get moved up the headline, and then you get the Tonight Show, and then you're a star overnight. Your star's on the rise. Yeah. Now there are a lot of people who couldn't adapt to that change that just quit comedy.
Yeah, that's what I mean. You just go, the talkies are out. I don't want to do it.
And then it became a little more gatekeepy, but there were a few more avenues, and then social media came out, and then some people figured out how to use that to their advantage. But it's only then everyone tries to copy that person's success, and they can't quite pull that off. Every social media creates a star, whether it's Rob Delaney kind of blew up on Twitter, Schultz used Instagram, Dane Cook used MySpace. I'm sure there's a Facebook comic I'm not thinking of.
I'm gonna be the Pinterest guy. That's what not someone's gonna.
Yeah. I mean, I'm gonna
be the Pinterest comic.
I'll hop on Discord and see how I do. I'm the LinkedIn comic. But and our industry's changing again, and I'm sure you just got to be.
Tell me what's happening so I can start doing it. It's
got to be. Well, I mean, right now it's my honest opinion, not to bore people who are not in comedy, is nothing moves the needle in big jumps anymore, unless there are still industry darlings that get the push. But for the most part, it's like you almost have to we have to relegate ourselves to courting your own audience and becoming your own. I just did. I had a special come out and that moved the needle a little bit.
Yeah.
And then I had a 20-minute Don't Tell set come out, and that helped a lot. It did everything I wanted it to do. It got a couple million views on a couple clips on TikTok. I got 1 million views on Instagram Reels. Those don't really translate into a lot of follows and fans like they used to.
Yeah, it's weird.
I got a couple thousand new fans. It's a good video. It gave me the bump for a couple other clubs in LA and stuff, and people to book me. You go to Moon Tower Festival. I did the Netflix festival. All of those things lead to other small opportunities. It's just like, I don't know where the big break is now.
Yeah.
I don't know if the big break is like all the little breaks add up to a big break, and then all of a sudden you've got 100 or 200,000 fans that you can leverage into, because that's what I see happening to my peers is I'm like, my friend Libby Higgins just got signed to an agency, and she's been plugging away. She's got a few hundred thousand. She's been on Instagram and doing stand-up and doing stuff.
Well, Libby's such a funny. So I met Libby around the same time I met you.
Sure.
She was the front runner for this thing that I produced, and then so I get her on the road, and she's working on stand-up, and then she's like, oh, it just comes up in conversation. She had this video a couple years ago, go super viral. This is before monetization, all the things. She got 58 million views on this Excuse Me video. Yeah. And she shows me the video, and it's just 10 years before I've even met her. And I'm looking at this video, and I'm like, people have said this to me. People have said "excuse me, bitch" to me.
Yeah, it's in the Urban Dictionary.
I had no
idea. She created a word.
Yeah. So Libby was always gonna be successful. She's just
100%.
And
she's a great example of why it took the industry so long to grab a hold of her, I'll never know.
Silly.
But that's just the industry we live in now. That's comedy. And I think it's all things. There's so many. We're inundated with so much information, so much content, quote unquote, which I hate that word. And then it's like, there's just so much to grab a hold of. There is no broad audience anymore.
Before content, it was they would say viral. There's I'd have companies come to me. They're like, we want to make viral videos. It's like, we all want to make viral videos, man. That's not what that means.
Yeah. Anytime someone starts reverse engineering a viral video, I can promise you it won't work.
Yeah.
I've gotten in arguments with people that are like, well, here's what's hot. These topics. And I'm like, yeah, but it'll be, if it's not something, the internet is like the Roman Colosseum, dude. You never know what they're going to.
Yeah.
You never know what they're going to thumb up and thumb down. And I've had stuff I've worked on meticulously, wrote the jokes, pound for pound, funny, sketch, filmed on a black magic, filmed over the shoulder, professionally edited, 300 views. And then I had
over the shoulder, like POV?
No, I'm just saying, we're doing we're getting the other side of things. Right. We're shooting it like a movie.
Yeah.
And I'm like, this is funny. It's well shot. This is gonna kill. And then it gets 10,000 views, and then
you're at home. You're like, am I not funny? What is this?
Yeah. And then I do something on my couch, half asleep, and I'm like, oh, that got 500,000 views last night. It's so impossible to predict, and I don't know what your experience is right now, but it feels like the industry is just you just got to kind of work hard, be kind, and trust that the universe will open up at some point.
Here's what I hear.
You'll drive yourself crazy.
Here's what I hear. I hear it's about the authenticity of what you're doing. So if you're, if you're a guy, I have a thing that I like to do where if I see trash on the side of the street, I'll go up and I'll pretend like it's an exciting thing. I call it a huge find, and I make a video. And there's a tiny little population of people that are on my social media now that like that, because that wasn't my main content. But the people that like it are in love with it, and there's an authenticity to me being excited about the trash.
Sure.
So it's just an example of if you're doing something, to your point, if you're doing something that's you saw somebody do something, so you're like, oh, I'm going to put on a wig and I'm going to do an accent. It's but if that's not you, if that's not who you are in your soul, it's not going to make it. It's just not going to make it.
It's also probably too late if you're emulating someone else. If you're I saw this person do it, so I'm going to do it.
Yeah.
There's a chance. It's a copy of a copy, and people see through that. And I agree with you.
That's what that's a good way to say it. People see through that.
In some ways, the trash is your Jerry Lewis. You're the Dean. The trash is the Jerry. We got to wrap this up, Dan. So real quick, tell people where they can find you. Plug the Instagram handles while we're talking about it. Plug all that stuff.
Yeah, put it on there. So it's Dan Frigolette, if you can spell it. You get to me at Dan Frig. Usually, I'm the first 3 or 4. I'll be in Wheeling, West. Wait, when does this come out?
It's coming out today at 4 o'clock.
I'm in Wheeling, West Virginia on the 6th. I'm in Walnutport at Soaked Winery on the 7th of March with Jason Salmon. The 16th of March, I'm in Tarpon River Brewing in Fort Lauderdale. Mutiny Bar Ocala on St. Patrick's Day. I'm at Calusa Comedy in Sanibel Island, March 21st and 22nd. I'm with Simeon Goodson. We're doing Hazy Mountain Vineyard in Afton, Virginia on the 3rd of April. 4th of April with Simeon at the Soaked Winery. I'm at the Starlet on 22nd in Charlotte, North Carolina on April 24th. Buy some tickets.
Buy some tickets. Go check out. Make sure you follow Dan on the socials. And I appreciate you being here today, man. I had fun hanging out with you, man. All right, we're going to take a break, and I'll come back and wrap this thing up. Hey, we're back, and now it's time for the wrap-up. Man, we had a great episode today. I hung out with Rizz after a 2-week hiatus, and we had a special guest. My buddy Dan Frigolette was here. We talked about everything from waking up during anesthesia to vaudeville and everything in between. Make sure and follow Dan on all of his social channels. Make sure that you're checking out his shows if he's coming to your neck of the woods. And as always, I appreciate you guys tuning in to the number 2 show. Look, it's the only talk show from a toilet. It's everybody's favorite. It's everybody's second favorite podcast, and that's for a reason. And I know that it's cliche to ask for this, but if you like it and you enjoy what I'm doing, make sure you like and subscribe, share, leave a positive review on Spotify or Apple or wherever you listen to podcasts. It actually does help me get things heard and get things seen, and it helps me grow an audience for a show that I spend a lot of time working on, putting a lot of heart and soul into. I appreciate all the kind messages about last week's episode. When we talked about mental health and some stuff going on in the world, that meant a lot to me. And I appreciate you guys spending time with me. It's not lost on me that you're taking time out of your day to hang out with me, whether it's audio or visual or both. If you listen to the podcast audio, I encourage you to tune in and check it out on YouTube. Leave a comment. If you're already listening to the video, good job. But if you're like, hey, the video's cool, but I want to listen in my car, don't watch it on the dashboard. Just listen on Spotify. It's fine. There's a couple visual jokes. Just imagine them in your head. But no matter what, I appreciate you. I've been your host, Rafe Williams. This has been the number 2 show. Until next week, always wipe front to back and know Rafe loves you.